Hello, good evening. Okay, sorry. Can you put this? Okay. Okay. I was actually lucky to get this picture from my dad. And so that's me when I was 3 years old. And you can see my parents. I was born in 1983, and then precisely on the 8th of May. And so that day was a very special day for my parents. As I was born, they took me to a traditionalist. My parents are traditionalists, so they took me to the future tellers, that the fortune tellers, to inquire of what will become of my future. And then when my parents got there, the man told my parents that this boy is going to be a great man. And so my parents immediately assumed that I was going to be a doctor or a lawyer. In those times, if you were going to be great, you should practice one of those professions. And so my parents did not ask what I would do. They jumped out, and then they began to tell me that you will be great, you will be rich, you will be the one to take care of the family. I'm the fifth born. I have elder brothers and sisters, but because of what they told my parents, my dad had to save so much money to send me to one of the best universities in the school. And so every day he would tell me, Lawrence, you will be rich, you will be great, you would take care of your younger ones and take care of the family. And so that mentality got into me. So when I got to the university in 2003, I began to study and to read very hard. I wanted to work in the bank or oil and gas sector. And in the first year, I read very well, got good results, second year, third year. And so at the end of the third year, something changed. It was precisely Friday, November 17, 2006, when the entire dream and mindset changed. I read an article about the plight that young Nigerians were faced with, and it was written by the then Minister of Education, Ezekwesili Obiageli. She analyzed that every year Nigeria graduates more than 1 million young people out of the high school and the university. And less than 30% of them could gain admission to study in the university. Less than 30% of them could get a good job. And so she said that by the year 2020, Nigeria, my dear country, would have raised highly skilled, more than 20 million highly skilled, not doctors, not lawyers, not farmers, not entrepreneurs, highly skilled criminals that could devour the entire country by 2020. At that moment, I dropped out of classes. I wanted to do something about it. So the dream around becoming rich changed. And so I began to read books on entrepreneurship because I wanted to do something. And so when I left the university in 2007, I didn't know what to do. I wanted an opportunity for young people so that I could help them to have new mindset about themselves and give them opportunity to discover livelihood opportunities. So I began to sell books, but that couldn't help them. And so I read another article about farming, and I saw that Nigeria had over 84 million hectares of farmland, and we import food into the country. Our food import bill is more than 16 billion USD. And I asked myself, this is a huge opportunity. Surface water is so huge. The young people, more than 50 million of them, so dynamic and so energetic. And so I started a project called the Youth Farm Project. I began to bring young people together on a borrowed farmland. And so I would take them to the farm on Fridays and Saturdays. We will farm together, eat together, sell some of these crops, and take part of the money back into the project. And we began to build it. And in 2012, I got a scholarship to study social entrepreneurship in India. And so when I got back, I transformed the model. I got dynamic young people together, and we began to work. And we changed the name of the project from the Youth Farm to Springboard. And so we said we are a network of young organic farmers in Nigeria. We're practicing agroforestry, sustainable agriculture, and currently we will get young people every year, between 200 and 500 of them. We'll train them, we'll give them the support that they need to start their own organic farms in clusters. And we form cooperatives, we provide advisory services to farmers that we convert into organic farmers, and we also train rural women to become entrepreneurs. So we provide support for them to start off-farm businesses during non-season, And we also have a project that is called the Farm to School project that we start in secondary schools in Nigeria. We want to build interest in young Nigerians to have passion for farming. If you ask Nigerian students who are studying agriculture, it's not by passion. So we want to help to build that interest in them. And we also do processing. We buy back some of the products from our farmers and convert into new products. We also have a school for our farmers' children. We also have a bank, too. We have a rural bank system in partnership with one of the commercial banks in Nigeria. And we've received a lot of visitors in our project. The U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, current one, has also visited us recently. For me, I see that landscape is much more than planting tree. It has much to do about livelihoods and mindsets. And so for us to actually transform the landscape in Africa, we need a movement, a dynamic movement. And so I see what I do is much more than a training program. It's much more than food production. I am creating a movement for a new country, for a new Nigeria. And so I see a nation that has millions of young people all over the place who are empowered to take their destinies in their hands, who are empowered to become whatever they want to be, and who are ready to help the country to become great, to become safe, to become green, and to become prosperous. And so that's what I'm doing with my life, and that's what I'm doing with my project. Thank you very much.